Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea, hope you're all good. So in it again with another immense pedal video from Boss. We're looking at the MD-500, which is absolutely insane in terms of the functionality and the sound quality and everything. We'll get into it. So the MD-500 has 12 different modulation effects, all of which are completely customizable. There's some classics in there, some that a lot of people are going to be excited about, as well as some new stuff. The chip in there is a 96K 32-bit processor, so it's twice as powerful as anything else on the market currently. Some of the really cool features in terms of its functionality are things like being able to route the outputs to have two different effects in each output going to two different amplifiers. So you can run a phaser and a flanger, for example, going completely separately to two different amplifiers, which is incredible. Much like the RV500, where you can do the same thing. You can send one reverb to one amp and a completely different reverb to another amp. Basically, you can have this linked up with the RV500 and have two completely dedicated effects loops going to separate amplifiers. On top of which you run it in series as well, so you can run A into B. You can also have a mix mode where it's sending a mix of both out to each output. Essentially, it's a really clever feature that I'm really excited about. So in order to split up the effects and send them to individual amps, what you need to do is go into menu. So if we look at the GoPro, if you hit edit and then you scroll down to system, this is exactly what you need to do to be able to assign the effect to each side. So go into system, scroll down until you find FSW mode, and under here it says normal, which means it's basically the one bank, the one patch going to the front of both. So if we then scroll along, you get ABC, which means you got a preset in A, preset in B, and a preset in C, or tap control, but it actually becomes a third preset button. Scroll along, you get A and B simultaneously, which means now we have independent control over both these two, which is A and B, which is what we want. And then tap control becomes tap tempo again, or momentary, or whatever you want it to be. And then finally we've got switch down up, which means A is your preset button, B becomes bank down, and C becomes bank up. But we want it to be on A, B simultaneously. So you exit there. And now we want to go to bank. So if you scroll to bank, you can see here it says connection parallel. This is talking about patches A and B, which now means in parallel what you're getting is the two effects running aside each other straight out of the outputs. And if you go to output mode, it says mix, which means it's sending a mix of both effects to each output to the amps. But if we scroll along, now we're getting A is sending an individual effect to the output A, and likewise the B is sending its own effect to output B. And that is really cool because it means we can start to tailor make patches if we start incorporating other pedals. And now you can see the display has changed. It's now displaying what we've got running at each side. So on side A we've got chorus, and on side B we've got a chorus, but two different types of chorus. And now we have independent control of both. We can turn them on and off individually. And something else worth pointing out is the letter is highlighted, as you can see when I'm scrolling between the two. So when I do that, it means that I can control this particular chorus with all these effects. As you can see, I'll be affecting just the bottom chorus because that's what I'm highlighted to. Whereas if I go to A, you can see it's very handy the way they've done it. It's very useful. It's completely MIDI programmable. It runs MIDI in and MIDI out and through, and also there's USB in on the back, so you can run it up to your Mac or Windows machine and run the Librarian editor, so you can back up all your patches, and you can also basically create new patches using the software. So you can set each patch to have either true or buffered bypass independently, and there's also expression pedal out and also an extra control button out, so you can have another stomp switch to be able to control or trigger something else on the MD-500. And also the tap control button on the right hand side can also be programmed to do extra functions, not just tapping tempos. It can also do toggle. It can toggle something, or it can be a momentary foot switch, or you can have it as a third preset as well. Along with the 99 banks, that gives you a total of 298 different presets available. There's also an insert loop on the MD-500, which means you can run any other pedal in the loop of the MD-500 and then select whether it's pre or post. And also, if I just grab my phone to list off some of the modeling on the new modulation algorithms inside the pedal, we've got models such as Phase 90, Fender Twin and Deluxe Trem, Scanner Vibrato, CE1 Chorus, and Songbird Tri-Chorus, all, you know, I'm sure some of you guys know these. There's an auto-tune rig modulator, a filter control featuring fully programmable filter sweeps and sounds. It's also really useful having the backlit LED monitor on top of the pedal, because you can basically, there's so much you can do with these sounds that it's good to have a screen, so you've got a menu you can scroll through and see exactly what you're doing. So the effects included in the MD-500 are as follows. We've got a chorus, we've got flanger, phaser, classic vibe, vibrato, tremolo, dimension, which is models a Roland Dimension D5DD 320, and also we've got a ring modulator, a rotary filter, a slicer, which is like a square wave, like on-off kind of sound, which is really cool, and we've also got the overtone. So we've got loads and loads of effects thrown into the MD-500, and I've also got later in the video an RV500 to link up to it, and we can send independent effects loops to do different amplifiers. So I'm using my Victory and I'm using a Kemper, and I'm going to be using a selection of my Fender Strat and a Chapman ML1 Pro Modern. Cool, so before we get into the pedal, this is the dry signal straight in. And if we look at the GoPro, you can see the controls that you can sort of affect on the fly. So we've got rate, depth, effect level, and then you've got two different parameter controls here that sort of correspond individually to the effects on the left hand side. As you can see, we've got the rotary knob to select all the effects. This is also a push pot, so you can actually go in and enter different menus using this as well. And then we've got our editing keys and the navigation keys. So if I wanted to edit this chorus before, this is how it sounds straight in. So that's how the chorus sounds straight in, and if I was to go and edit this now, I'd hit the edit button, and we've got a couple of different menus here. We're going to be using this to be able to split our feeds to different outputs later, but for now I'm just going to show you how you'd edit the chorus specifically. So if you look at the menu, we've got patch. If you hit edit, you can go in, and now you've got the type that you can basically go through. So this is one of them. Scroll along, we've got the CE1. And if we go along again, we've got one with vibrato. So there are loads of different ones, as you can see, and then we've got the tri-chorus as well. So clearly there are loads of different choruses you can choose from, and then of course you've got all the different parameters that you can go in and edit to fine tweak the kind of sound that you want. And then when you've finished, you just hit edit and exit together, and then edit again, and it will save it for you. And on top of that, if we go back into control for a moment, you can see the tap control button is currently set to tap, but we can actually change what we want it to do. So we can have it be a momentary foot switch, it can be a bank up, bank down. Okay, so now we've looked at editing the effects, let's go ahead and check out the different ones in the MD-500. So this would be chorus. Now let's move on to flanger. It's pretty cool. Let's have a look at the different controls and see how weird we can make it sound. That's kind of cool, it's droney. Let's throw on some reverb. This is the RV500 with a whole reverb on one side. Well, that's definitely weird. I've never heard a flanger do that before, but then again, that's because you were editing extremely intense parameters really, really easily. So anyway, moving on, this is phaser. Very cool. It's again the kind of things you can affect on these 4 parameter controls here. Well, obviously you've got your depth and your effect level, but the 2 parameter effects really do a lot to the sound. I don't know what it is about modulation effects, but it instantly throws me into the 90s, and everything that I play on the guitar sounds like it's from a 90s nu metal song or alternative rock. I have no idea why, but it's great. So that's phaser, classic vibe. Oh, it's great. It sounds so good. I mean, I think the powerful processor really, really does make such a big difference to the quality of the effects. I love it. It's great. Right, vibrato. Moving on to tremolo. It's a really inspiring pedal. These are all song sounds to me, you know, it's really, really cool. I'm really enjoying this. Right, what we got next? We got Dimension. It's a really wide sounding chorus. It sounds to me like a chorus. And then we're moving on to ring modulator, one of my faves. Sounds awesome. I love that. And if you throw in a bit of the old reverb in there as well. It's a classic ring modulator, very cool. Rotary. The rotary's sick because you can really push that drive. just to compare. Very cool. Filter. Sounds really random on a Strat. But it's a cool auto wah. Now we're onto slicer. This is wicked because it's like a square wave that cuts the signal and you can blend it in as much or as little as you want. It's great with delay and reverb. It's a really cool effect, very epic sounding. Okay, moving on to the last effect, overtone. If you bang a bit of gain on one side with the overtone, you can get a really dirty organ sound. So that's all 12 effects. What I wanted to do now is just demonstrate how you can send one effect to one loop and one effect to another, because I'm running straight into the MD-500 and then I've got two sends. So what I want to do, just to demonstrate how good it is when you split the two, is change the effect of either side. So I'm going to change side A to a ring modulator, and then I think I'm going to change side B to maybe overtone, so you can hear how weird it's going to sound in two sides. So now I can toggle both on independently. So this is my sound straight in. If I throw on side B, that's my overtone, and then side A should be coming out the right hand side. Put them both on together. And if I put distortion on one side only, you should get some cool, weird effects. Very cool. So now I'm running both the MD-500 and the RV-500 at the same time, and I've got a separate reverb and delay and modulation effect going to one amp inside A, and then the same happening inside B, a different modulation effect and a different reverb. So check this out. Very, very cool, and that's going to sound amazing if you're listening to it in headphones. Just the fact you can mix and match you know, completely different effects and send them completely separately, or mix them together and have them both going out of both outputs. So you can literally do whatever you want. But there you go. That is my overview of the Boss MD-500. Just so you're aware, this is going to be a sub £400 pedal. It's just shyly over £350, which is way more affordable than its competition, which is fantastic considering the power and the flexibility of such a pedal. They really are awesome, and to be fair, my favourite part about it is the routing of the effects loops, because I use a lot of stereo effects and it's great to have that option, on top of which the sound quality is really fantastic. So I'm really impressed. And I think lastly, I'd probably say the screen makes a massive difference, because you've got so much customizability inside the pedal. Having a screen like that so you can scroll through the menus is really handy. So all in all, I'm just really impressed. And on top of that, they're battery powered as well. They run on 4 AA's, so you know, you don't even, if for some reason your power supply packs in and you've got batteries in there, you're still good to go mid gig. It's not going to reset or anything like that. So that's very cool. So there you go. That's my video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much to the guys at Boss for sending me the gear. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'll put all the links in the description box below, and I will see you very soon.